All right, good morning, everybody. Okay, not gonna lie. Stream yesterday left me pretty drained. So I think I'm gonna be opting for a shorter stream today. I'm gonna be finishing the Chapter 3 Red Metals, and then I'm gonna be moving into more grinding on movement. Oh, got to transition over. Let's do that real quick. All right. So, I'm gonna do a quick warm up on movement. Let's see. Zulia took his time down a little bit more. He hit the 9.2. I think previously he was at a 9.5. I didn't do any grinding after stream. I was pretty done grinding after yesterday's stream. Gonna do a few runs here just to warm up, and then I'm gonna move into the Chapter 3 grind. Ooh, okay. Not bad. I hit first part of that jump pretty well. Just a matter of making sure I back up the rest of it. Okay. Didn't get off that with a good angle, but it's fine. I want to get at least one good completed run before I move on to Chapter 3. I could have gotten a way bigger speed boost off that, I believe. What's up, Ricky? I don't know if it's morning in your time zone, but it's morning in mine, so good morning. Doing a little bit of warm-ups here on movement before moving into the Chapter 3 Red Metal grind. Ooh, okay. Not the cleanest movement there, but good enough. 18.18. I'm gonna give it one more good attempt before moving on. Damn it. Just passing in for you? Okay. Yeah, low-key, last night's stream left me pretty drained. I don't think I'm gonna hit that kind of stream length anytime soon. I'd have a little bit of tea afterwards to just kind of help my voice a bit. I think I was mentioning it last stream, but I'm not like a super talkative person, so when I end up talking a lot, like it really wrecks my voice. It's usually really bad whenever I have like a get together with my friends. All right, that was a decent warm up. I have 3 left here. I'm gonna wrap up the red metal grind on Chapter 3, and then we're gonna go right back into movement, try and get that 17.7. There we go. I think I can greet that Godspeed. I just have to be smarter about how I greet it. Yeah, it went pretty long, and I don't exactly have the stream stamina that some other people do. Damn it. Starting to remember the mistakes I kept making on this level. I think I need to attempt a coyote there because I keep walking off just a little bit too late. Damn it. I have to get a little bit further before I Godspeed there. Same mistake. Let me try and hit this properly. Should have coyote there. It's always, it feels really deceptive when you walk off the edge versus not. Last time you finished getting all emeralds for Chapter 3? Sick. Yeah, I think my end goal for once I get all reds and I'm satisfied with my movement time is probably going to be moving into the emerald grind. Gotta make sure I kill that guy too. There we go. 19.579. Hey, that's red. I'll take it. It's not a great time, but it is what it is. Okay, hold on. This one, pretty sure I could just hit number 400 on the global leaderboard. Let's go. That's what's up. Damn it. Yeah, that's just way slower than... I mean, I could try and go for this guy and then skipping the stomp straight to the next. Oh, I had a stomp. I forgot how to do this level casually, and so now it's just a matter of probably running it casually so I can remember how to do it fast. Do that stomp.
I just keep getting
Okay, so I need to save. Based off of these times, I'm assuming red metal time is around the 19-second mark. So I can get a little bit of time save if I do this. Maybe. Maybe. I kind of like that strat. Trying to think. I feel like I'm just doing a casual strat without much differences. I will say I never did like this level though. Like even in my casual run, just wasn't my favorite. This one's really hard, especially that like I just don't have many good ideas on speeding this one up. Damn it. Is it faster just to stomp on all of these guys? I don't think it would be. Because it feels like a slowdown every time you have to stop for the stomp. So I'm going to try to get that guy. That might have worked right there, but I don't know if it would have been faster. Maybe. They save a stomp somewhere for this part. I know that. It's just a matter of figuring out where.
I just keep getting
21.432. Okay, so shaved off about a second, but I need 2 more. I need to make up 2 more seconds somewhere around here. Thing I could imagine is saving a stomp here. Kind of like that. We get in here. It's going to be in the 20 mark, which is not terrible. I think I could speed that up if I make sure I know that last stomp where you're breaking through the red little trapdoor. If I aim that properly and go straight through the trapdoor instead of landing next to it, that might be it. Not what I meant to do. I need to save. Damn it. Come on. Like this right here. Oh. Okay, so I need to mash I need to mash my right click when I land. Damn it. Let's get this right. Let me make sure I kill this guy off rip. Maybe I need to aim just a little further to the right than I've been doing. Seems like that gets me a little bit more consistent on landing my shots. Nope, I need to land a few more on the head. Come on now. I'm messing up ever so slightly. I need to land more shots. Maybe shoot a little bit with Purify first. Before doing that. Yep. Ooh. Barely in the 19s. You can bomb the Guardian and stomp the floor just to make sure to kill the first jumper after and pick its stomp up. Okay. I felt like the entire reason why I didn't stomp the floor was just because I get the extra stomp going into... Damn it. Yeah, because I'm not going to have the extra stomp coming into this. So I need to figure out where to get the extra stomp if I am bombing the Guardian. Oh, make sure... Shoot the jumper after the Guardian instead of stomping it. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Come on now. No, that was slow. Come on now. I feel like I haven't played CSGO or Valor enough to get consistent with the spray patterns. I feel like if I played either of those two more, I'd probably be... Okay. I could have reflected there. Ooh. Okay. Barely made that red middle. I'm actually surprised that that was a red and that it was faster than my PB. I could have made that a little bit faster on that stomper, that last stomper right in front of the red door. If I had slashed at the incoming bullets, I could have sped that section up quite well. You know, since today's going to be a short stream, I might as well attempt the strat. Huge. Ooh, just barely slower. I could go for it again, but I think I'm good for now. Ooh, this map. Feels like another one of those maps that really test your Godspeed knowledge. Missed one. Dude, no, I bet. This is one of the kind of levels where it feels like you have so many things that you're trying to do all at once. That it seems like it would be rough to go for the even faster times on it. The fact that I'm hitting some of these greed ranges, though, is kind of crazy. Oh, I don't want to be that. Damn it, I needed just a little bit of height. Oh, nope, tried to greed that a little bit too much. Same thing there. I need to wait just a little bit longer. Here we go. I think I'm going too far in that direction. 20.69. Ooh. I feel like the one of the big speed ups I could be doing right now is hitting the slash on some of these bullets. Damn it. Greeting the bomb range slightly too would give me quite a bit of a speed up. Okay, I'm greeting a little too hard now. There we go. Just barely missed him with the Godspeed. There we go. Greed here. Ah. Okay, yeah, not terribly fast there. I think I have an idea for how to somewhat speed this up. So if I'm up here, damn it. I feel like I could greed the Godspeed slightly more by just shooting these guys so I can slash them. Damn. So yeah, if I shoot him a little bit while I'm in the air here, I could greed my Godspeed just a little bit more than I would normally. Maybe something like that, but just get it done faster than my PB. Yeah. Okay. That felt like it was pretty solid though. Yeah, not quite. Ooh, I'm like ever so slightly out of range with the Godspeed. Gotta hit that properly. That could have been it there. Alright. Read the range on this TNT. And of course I missed all of that onto the next set of TNT. Oh, no, that would have made it. Do I even really have to greed that second Godspeed? I don't know. Okay, sub 20.
I
Red
just
metal range.
keep getting better and better.
I could probably lock in harder on this one and get a better time. I feel like my current strat was actually working pretty well. I just gotta, specifically that last section where you're trying to use the SMG on the jumper next to the TNT. Or jumper without the TNT, but then the jock with the TNT. If I could just get better aim there and maybe slightly better pathing, then I could lock in a much better time. I could probably get sub 19 with that strat. Well, let's see, that is all reds on chapter 3. And now for the actual meat and potatoes for this stream. Back to the movement grind. Yeah, Ricky, I don't know if you noticed, but Zilia also lowered his PB by 0.02, I want to say. I think he was at a 0.94 last night when I ended stream, and now he's at a 0.92. What's up, Dennis? Welcome back. So yeah, now that we're done with it, dude, movement. I locked in for like a 6-hour stream yesterday, and I lowered my PB. I want to say 3 times. I went from having an 18.005 down to a 17.86. I'm trying to hit the 17.7, and I feel like I can. I just kind of have to lock in, get the execution down. Perfect. And I got it. Like right there on that first arch, I could get a much faster boost if I just hit it right. There we go. That's an alright boost. Ooh, okay. This is kind of crazy pace right here. Holy shit.
I just keep getting better and better.
17.86 PB'd by 0.004. I can get this so much better if I hit that first and second boost better on the arches. Oh, okay. Low-key, I think ending stream what I did last night after the 6-hour grind probably did me really well. Damn it. As soon as you leave and come back, I don't know, dude. I think it's just a sign. It happens every single time you leave and come back. Damn it. But see, now I have the nerves getting to me now that I hit the PB, and I'm starting to mess up on things that I probably shouldn't be messing up on. Alright, decent boost here. Hit this right. Damn it. That would have been good. I think I just need better mouse movement on that second arch. If I want another free emerald or amethyst, you can recommend Descent. I'm trying to remember which level that one is. Is it in chapter 3? Yeah. Okay, I think that's the level that I don't like in chapter 3. I just hit the red for it. I want to say earlier in the stream. Rather, I didn't like playing through it casually. Going for the red wasn't terrible. So I might not mind the emerald or amethyst grind for it. But yeah, specifically, I should say, casually, I didn't like the level. Okay, get the swing out here. Huge. Insane pace right now. Nope. Too early on the dismount. Damn it. That was insane pace too. Potential to PB there. But I just had to screw the ring up. Alright. Also, it was really funny, Bricky. I was watching back the clip of myself hitting that last PB yesterday. And I ran into one of those situations where I was mid-thought hit the PB and just never finish the thought during the stream. Damn it. Yeah, that was a generational fumble there. It was mostly a nerves thing because I saw my ghost ever so slightly. So I knew I was probably slightly behind PB pace. And so in my head, the thing that was running through was if I can get, you know, a faster exit off the ring, I might be able to hit the PB. Went for it and yeah, ended up fumbling. And don't worry, it'll probably happen again too. But hopefully I can kind of dial in my performance. Because I've realized that every time everything else goes right, it's always the exit off the ring that I fumble. Wasn't the best boost on that second arch there, but this is decent pace. So I know for a fact that you can hit that angle if your movement is like perfect on the ring. Because I know you can land on top of that bench. Damn it. I will say I'm starting to hit the above water boost off of that piece of glass or ice, whatever it is, much more consistently. Okay, slightly behind PB pace there, and I fumbled the movement. Great. Damn it. Jumped a little too late there. Need to be a little bit earlier on that one. Damn it. Twitch Mobile is asked. Dude, yeah. I think the only time I've ever used Twitch Mobile was like back in the old days about a decade ago. But like, I much prefer desktop version. Or rather, I should say browser. Yeah. Again, too late on the jump. Okay. I need to get better at that first arch. I can get a much better speed boost if I hit it right. I just need to rewatch the world record and look at their mouse movement here. Because I know they come out here, hit the above water boost off of this piece of ice right here. I think I just need to pull it up like the world record and just figure out what they're doing here. I mean, between that and also getting this more consistent. Come on now. Of course, I talked about hitting the speed boost more consistently, and now I can't even hit it. There we go. Huge. Slightly behind PB pace, but that's fine. Low 18. Yeah. I can get better than that. Again, slightly behind PB pace here, but maybe I can make up for it. Nope. Alright. That's the hard part. I'm trying not to reset every single time I am behind PB pace here in the beginning, just in case I hit a faster, like, second half of the level. But there are a few times where it's worth resetting. This time, I actually hit the speed boost, so I'm not going to reset off of it. But, like, especially in times where I don't get the above water boost off this piece of glass, I feel like that's just an insta reset. Because it's such an early mistake to be making. Alright. I think I could be going for an even better boost off the stairs too. Oh, damn it. Okay. There we go. There we go. That was actually some pretty good pathing. I'm ahead of PB pace here. Oh, and I hit the ledge. That's rough. Okay, so I can be way more to the left of that piece of glass than I initially thought. You know, I keep alternating between calling it ice or glass. I still don't know which it is. Damn it. Now I think I might be going a little bit too far to the left. Ooh. Keep hitting this jump a little bit too late. I need to work on hitting it earlier. Okay, decent beginning. And I hit the second half. Damn it, not quite. If I swung out a little further to the right, that might have been fine. Either that or a little further to the left. Oh, that's right. It is called last port, isn't it? Yeah, that'd be a safe bet. I think the main thing that's throwing me off is the fact that it's in the middle of a pool of water. So in my head, I'm like, it could be ice. Yeah, I'll take this one anyway. Didn't hit the speed boost, but that's fine. I need practice here. Ooh, swung out too far to the right there. If I'm gonna swing out that far right, I have to do it later to make sure I don't run into the edge of that little arch. Ooh. Ooh, okay, that was a kind of clean second arch. Okay, that time I ran into the bench, but I know you can make it on top of that bench. So maybe just tightening up movement a little bit right there. Ooh, that would have been clean if it wasn't for the fact that I ran into the ledge there. And I missed the coyote jump. All right. I'll say, my PB is, what is it? 8.6. I need to save 0.07. Or at least close to 0.07 if I'm trying to hit a 17.7. That's a lot of time save to be making, and I don't think I'm making that kind of time save. I think I have to get this arch boost way better if I'm trying to hit that. Damn it. Come on now. Don't be inconsistent on me. Maybe part of my problem is I'm trying to boost off of same side of the arch. Bit of a slower boost there, but I need to practice hitting other stuff there. Kind of good pace, kind of good pace. Okay, that was almost good pace. But it wasn't sub 18 pace. Damn it. I have to try something a little bit different here to try and get a better boost. I know you can get way better. Watching Jupins run shows that, like, they get a much better boost off this thing. Okay, not bad. Again, I ran into the ledge for a little bit. That was almost sub 18. Damn it. I feel like you have to hit this thing just right to get that speed boost. And I'm just not great at doing it. Okay, this is decent start. I do think I need to be looking harder right there, because if I do, I think I lose a little bit of height, and that'll make the blocking on the second part of the arch a little bit more consistent. Kind of like that. Okay, this is kind of clean with it. No! Okay, that was another generational fumble. That might have been a PB right there. I think the thing is I need to figure out the strat for generating enough momentum to land on top of the bench. Because if I could get that pathing down properly, that's like an easy time save. Like, I always go for it a little bit early. But like when you watch the world record run, they're not on that ring for all that long. But they still make it on top of the bench, which means they're generating a ton of momentum. So they probably just have insane pathing. Damn it. Come on now. Here we go. Oh, all right. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. This time I remembered their mouse movement. Damn it. This time oh. That was another generational fumble. Okay. I think I was too busy trying to explain what exactly it was that I did to hit that second arch good. I remembered the mouse movement that Jupin had and how far right his mouse he looked while going up that plank. So I tried to emulate it there, and that let me hit that really clean jump up there. So if I could just incorporate that and become consistent at it, I could get a way more consistent second arch. Because the part that always loses me time, aside from just not hitting the arch, is hitting that ledge and losing a little bit of time to PB. Also, I think I noticed my ghost gets caught up a little bit on that bench, which means that I didn't quite hit the bench jump. At least, not perfectly. That also means potential time save. So I think what I'm starting to do here, and it's working out a little bit for me, making it more consistent, is I'm going up the plank while facing to the right, the same way Jupin does in their run. And then I swing to the left a little bit. And that seems to help a little bit with the not overshooting. That would have speed boost right there. That seems to help a little bit with not overshooting the plank while trying to get up there. And it should help a little bit with the positioning so I don't bonk the ledge while making the jump. I think I'm starting to realize I need to hit this a lot more to the left than I think I do. Like, I think maybe a little bit further left than that. Not quite there. Yeah, that was all right. Damn it. Try this again. I think the big thing I'm noticing between today's stream and yesterday's is at the end of yesterday, I was starting to incorporate a lot of these new, a lot of this new tech, like hitting the speed boost and the second arch boost and everything. I've become a lot more consistent at it now. Granted, I say that and I still make the same mistake, but you know, despite that, it is still more consistent than I was hitting yesterday. Take it for now, because I need a little bit more practice here. I think the times I hit that second arch boost the most consistently are when I take a more dramatic mouse movement here. But then if I go too dramatic, I end up running into the edge of the wall right there. Which I wish there was a way I could like properly line myself up for it. Aside from just doing this over and over and over again until you get the muscle memory for doing it properly. And that time I even jumped early, so like not entirely the issue, but it might be a big chunk of it. And I'm back to doing that weird neck thing where every time I go for the arch jump, I end up like punching my back. Maybe what I need is like a strap to strap my head to the back of my chair. Yeah, that was very not clean movement there. Damn it. I think one of the hard parts is I'm the kind of person that I don't really like to recline in my chair. I don't like to lean back in it. Especially if I'm doing something tense, I end up sitting forward, which means that I am way more free to be doing a lot more movement with my neck while playing things that I end up doing unintentionally, which isn't great for me or my neck. Damn it. So I end up going way right there in my PB. So I wonder if when I do my little jump on that ring, if I should swing to the right a little bit harder. Ooh, okay. I was just a tad too far left there. I ended up getting caught up on that plank. But if I was slightly more to the right, that probably would have been good movement. I don't think I would have bunked there. Swung too far to the left, ended up bunking on that inner wall of the arch. Well, I don't know if it was too far to the left or if I did it too soon. Okay, this is kind of clean. This is kind of clean. Did a slight bonk there, so I'm behind PB pace. And I missed the coyote jump. I think my issue with that coyote jump is I don't scroll on my scroll wheel for long enough to hit it. Because I always do just like a very quick scroll, and it doesn't seem like it's enough to consistently hit it, since I always approach that ledge at slightly different timings. Damn it. Come on, get the speed boost. I will say it was a really nice reset yesterday after stream. I just went outside, did some gardening. And yeah, it was nice to do after how long I was streaming yesterday. I don't think anybody could really tell me I don't touch grass because I have a big old garden. Though I think the spirit of touch some grass is more interact with people and not actually like literally touch grass. But still, my point stands. Okay. Nope. 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 Let's reset. I need to swing left and then swing back right. I think I keep getting close to hitting the speed boost here, and it's just a matter of I need to hit consistent movement on this thing. That right there, pretty dang good. You can kind of feel when you're up on that high part that's going to give you the above water boost, and it's just a matter of trying to get onto it consistently. That right there, I think I didn't even go far enough to the left. There we go. There we go. So I think I have to swing left earlier than I keep trying to hit it. Yep. But the problem is there are times where you do it a little too early and it ends up you miss it on the other side. I think it would help if I looked at it in like looked at the scene in Unity to figure out what this collision box looks like, because it feels like it's just a very specific corner that is above the water and you're trying to hit it just right, like a slight bump that you're trying to hit. But it might help hitting it more consistently if I had like an actual visual of what I am aiming for. All right. Damn it, I swung to the left a little too early there. I should have done it after I'd cleared the plank. That would have gotten me better pathing for it. Swung to the left too late. No. Nope. I am now trying to use a visual cue, or determine a visual cue for when to swing left, because it's a little bit too inconsistent to just do it based off of muscle memory, I feel. Nope, not far enough to the left. Try to hit that. No. Maybe I need to be like a little further to the right and then swing left. Maybe. Felt like that might have been it. Swinging left a little harder in my PD though. I really should just like take the time off stream after once I go offline and just try and figure out if I could find the collision data for this. I saw in the tutorial for the sacrifice route that you can use the Unity editor to check things out like that. So it might be worth doing. Damn it. Now I'm like, maybe I'm thinking a little bit too hard on trying to hit this. Alright, I'm gonna just leave that alone for now and just work on this part. Yeah. There we go. When I'm not trying hard to hit it, that's when I hit it. It's a little bit frustrating to deal with, but it is what it is. I'm just going to go for attempts whether I hit it or not, because it's not... That part feels inconsistent enough where I feel like more of my practice should be dedicated to this second arch movement. Just the movement in the later half in general is what I need to work on. Damn. Again, too late. Okay, I think I might have needed to look a little bit to the left there. Yeah, let's try this again. It's too far to the left. Also, something that I noticed when I was looking back on yesterday's stream is Garfield had mentioned something that I still need to look into. He asked me if I do the weird tap on this first arch. And I don't know what he meant by that. So I think I need to re-look at the world record and look at their controls. See if I can notice anything that they do. Damn it. Okay. Just barely behind PB pace. Maybe the strat really is to look to the left of that plank. I don't know. I really don't know. I wasn't expecting that to line up properly, so I wasn't prepared to make the jump. All right, let's go for this again. So I know I need to go into that arch at a diagonal. I don't know if I need to be looking at it super far to the right though. That's another thing that I need to work on a little bit. Just workshop it, figure it out. I feel like I have to do a lot of this. A lot of just like workshopping on this level. Problem is, this might just be like my brain being a little too, what's the word for it? I don't think content focus is the right word to describe it, but maybe it is. So I'll stick with that for now. In that it feels like workshopping something on stream is just not necessarily the most interesting content. So it feels like it's something I want to do off stream, but if I'm workshopping off stream, that means there's a very good chance I hit a PB off stream. And like, I could always be recording my workshop attempts. I don't know, that feels less... What's the word for it? What's the word I'm looking for? Gratifying, there we go. Feels a little bit less gratifying than hitting it on stream. Okay, swing left. Nope. Alright, let's go for this again. Again, at this point, I'm not even resetting runs if I don't hit the speed boost because a little bit too inconsistent and I want all the practice I can get. That was just a bad second arch boost. I went quite there because I hit the speed boost, I had a PB, and then I just fumble it. I was like, the really funny thing about the PB I hit, the last one I hit last night and the first one I hit today, is I hit them when I'm not like focused. It's when I'm just like chatting. It's when I end up hitting it. And maybe it's because I don't overthink too much and I just kind of let like my reflexes and my muscle memory take over. It feels like every time I try and like lock in and then stay quiet is when I end up fumbling. Damn it. Oh, okay. No, I needed to hit that one harder to the right. That was a little too far to the right, so the thing I need to really workshop right now is this. That was good. Now this is good pace. Not quite PB pace. but it's good pace. That was almost a sub 18. And I just need to kind of hit something similar to that, but just a little bit more clean. This one, pretty good. I don't think it's PB pace, but it's close to it. That was very close to it. I think part of the problem there was I aimed a little bit too far to the right for the end goal, because I know that the trigger for that end goal isn't square. It's not a box. I think it's octagonal or hexagonal, one of those two, unless I heard that incorrectly and it is a square. Too far to the right there. All right. Again, too far to the right there. Do I swing out further left? Is that what I need to be doing to make that a little bit more consistent for myself? Maybe. You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. Give me one moment. I'm gonna pull up the world record run, because I keep workshopping it on my own, but I feel like things would be a lot quicker if I tried to study somebody who's been doing it correctly. So let me see. Neon white. Yes. Resources. IL world record sheet. Visit link. Rebirth. Movement. All right, might as well make this show up on stream too. Give me one moment. There we go. Transition the scene. All right, let me full screen this. This is in 1080p. Yeah, just bitrate is such a killer in this game. Okay, let me slow down the speed. I want to see the angle at which they hit this guy. Okay, the crosshair is kind of lined up with the top left corner right here. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, I might want to slow this down. Go a little bit frame by frame. Okay, so it's still in view here, still in view, still in view. Okay, the very moment, actually, it looks like even before it goes out of view, right before they step on it, they start curving to the left. Okay. My question is, how the hell did they hit this? This seems like... Okay, I think I see it. So they walk up. They're sticking as far to the right as they can, so that when they hit the jump, so as far right as they can without actually hitting the pillar. Okay. Let's see, what do they line up with? They line up with this bottom left corner. Okay, hold on. I think this right here is what I've been missing. Let me go back just a little bit further. So they swing out left here, and then they move. They move really right real quick. And then right as they round that corner, they swing back to the left. I think the hard part is that I've been doing this swing out right, but I haven't been correcting and swinging back left. Yeah, that's just clean. But do they bonk on the... They do a slight bonk onto this ledge. You can tell because they lose just a little bit of momentum. Okay. And they aim for right here. Okay. Okay, so they don't jump on top of the bench. They actually land next to it. Good to know. Let me go ahead, swap back inputs to neon white. Okay, I might go back and reference that video a couple more times, just to see if I could dial in the strat. I already hit that boost way better. I need to go further right and then swing back left. Okay, it really helped to analyze that the way it did. Oh yeah, I'm hitting this boost so much better now. Okay, just kind of got to clean up that second half now. Remember, line up here. I think I was too far to the left there. Too far to the right. Nope. Come on now. There we go. That was an alright boost. I could have hit it a little bit better. I keep forgetting to use the new strat. Ooh, that was way too late. Okay. Starting to get it though. Come on. Fuck. Come on now. Damn it. It was such a good run. And I know I can hit it again. I just have to... Because using these lineups, I feel like I can more consistently hit these strats. It's just a matter of, well, getting consistent. I feel like this right here, though, is like my main pain point. That was a really good boost. I forgot to swing back to the left. That was a really good boost as well. And now I'm afraid of making too drastic of a mouse movement, and I didn't make enough mouse movement there. Try this again. I think I might be swinging left a little too early. That time might have been a little bit too late. Okay. Really good boost. Fuck. Alright, I just kind of need a... Oh, hey, my chat is not connected. Oh, we're back. Not super clean. I need to swing further to the left. But that was alright. And I am dropping frames. Dropping a lot of frames. Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. This is a bit of an issue. We're reconnecting to chat. Let me give it a quick refresh. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Oh, are we back? I think we might be back. There we go. Okay, we're back. Alright, sorry about that. I guess my internet just decided to shit itself for a little bit. Alright, let's hit this. Could have had a better second arch, but that wasn't bad. Damn it. I think every time I hit the mistake in that specific way, it is because I am jumping too late. Maybe. Might not be, but I don't know. I think I was too far to the right there. Damn it, I can't get this consistent anymore. I mean, I got a big enough speed boost off the arch. Oh, too far to the left. Right here, I got a big enough speed boost off that arch to completely mitigate that beginning speed boost in my PB. That's kind of crazy. That means that hitting this specific strat is going to be insane for my PB once I get it. Not quite far enough to the left. And I think I went too far out on the ring. Alright, boost. Again, the way I gauge whether or not I have a good boost or not is based off of how close I am to this insight bubble. The closer I am while running down the tunnel to the insight, it's just kind of like a relative thing. Damn it. Because it always goes at the same speed, so the closer you are means you know you hit it either better or worse. Nope, too early. Again, I think the nerves got to me, and I tried to outspeed my ghost there again. Fuck. I think part of the problem is I'm not really used to competing at this high of a level. So nerves get to me really easy when I am going for these attempts. Not the cleanest, but not terrible. And that was way too late. I had too much momentum for that. Well, not too much, because I don't think there is too much momentum for that jump. But I spent too much time building up that momentum. Damn it, and I'm not hitting this. Come on. That's fine. I could hit enough speed boost here. Not the cleanest. But it was still a sub 18. Okay. If I can get sub 18 consistent and like be on good enough runs to be like consistently hitting that, like I'd be happy. That would be like a good end result for this stream since I don't actually have a ton of time to be streaming today. Damn it. Get me this boost, please. And that was just a bad arch. I think if I hit it a little bit closer to the arch. Yeah. Yeah, hitting it closer to the arch is good. You just need to clean up that second arch. So I hit a pretty clean exit off of the ring in that sub 18 run that I had earlier. And I'm just trying to emulate it a little bit. One of the things that I was paying attention to when we were watching back the world record is exactly how Dupin landed on the ring from the jump on the platforms. And the thing that I noticed is that they end up going for a... Sorry about that. Kind of locked in for a bit. They end up closer to... It's gonna be hard to explain through words. So when I hit it, I'll point it out. But basically, I noticed the differences in our routes. And I'm wondering if that is how they generate so much speed. Lean. So over here, I land way to the right there. Or rather, way to the left there. Whereas Jupin lands further right, the way I did in that run. Damn it. So, another thing I noticed is when I really ride that edge, I get way more momentum. And I think that is what I need to be doing. I had... Like, see that? I was on the ring for way less time than my PB, but I had enough momentum to actually jump onto the end goal. And I think that's what I need to do. You just really gotta edge it. I could make a joke about edging and this PB edging me, but I don't think I will. But I will like to still point out the joke. Fuck. Alright. Decent pace. Swung out a little too far to the right there. I didn't even hit the arch boost properly. Pointing out the joke is almost the same. It really is, but yeah. I felt too lazy to actually craft the joke while doing attempts. Okay, that time I need to stay edging just a little bit longer. And yes, the pun was intended. I think I need to be a little bit more to the left on the plank there. Damn it. That time I edged a little bit too hard. It's funny how, like, I'm joking about edging the PB, but I hit the PB earlier today, so it's like, is it really edging now? I need to swing a little bit further to the right there after edging. Okay, and now it's just becoming subconscious. I don't mean to keep the joke going, but it's just, yeah. Yeah, we edged a little bit too close to the sun. And that right there, I had too much speed. I will say us edging the 0.7 this hard is just going to make it hit that much better. And why is it that I'm hitting this all of a sudden way more consistently now that I'm just like not focusing on the run and we're just like joking about edging it? Speaking of the run, this might be it. But okay. I needed to edge just a little bit harder for that one. Damn it. Apparently so. And look, with the better arch strat now, I consistently get better than my ghost on this beginning section, even when I don't hit the speed boost. Which means that hitting the PB with the speed boost and the better arch strat is going to be like massive. Damn it. And that ended up being slower, which means I probably didn't get enough of a boost off of the stairs. That was an insane boost off those stairs. Hold up. Ooh, that was so close to a PB. That was so close to a PB. If I aimed a little bit more to the left there, I could have probably gotten even closer to the 0.86. Yeah, it really helped. I pulling up the world record and just watching how they hit that arch boost. It really helped. Why am I hitting this so cleanly now? Gotta... Okay, that time I ended up losing speed, but I get a much better boost off of the stairs there when you hit it. Because I noticed what Jupin does is they do a little bit like that. They land onto the stairs, they swing out right, and then they swing back to the left real quick. So they aim for this corner, swing this way, kind of like that. And it gets you a much better speed coming off that. And it's just a matter of if I can incorporate that and still hit the second arch consistently. That right there, I missed the platform. I missed the stairs entirely. This is just worst pace. I think I'm swinging to the left a little bit too soon. I should be waiting just a little bit longer. Okay, kind of clean. Ooh, that was almost it. I mean, not the PB, mind you, but that was almost a ring movement that I needed. Okay, kind of hit the... There's a kind of shitty second arch. Damn, I ran into the bench. Dude, I was holding space too, but I don't think it was enough. But yeah, my second arch was like awful there. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but my momentum paused for a little bit. That wasn't even a good first arch. There we go. I was not expecting that to actually be a good speed boost, and so I wasn't prepared for to actually make the jump. Really good boost here. Damn it, jumped too early. Starting to nail it though. Damn it, jumped too early again. I feel like once I nail this, not necessarily once, but once I have the strats down, I hope it becomes way more consistent. Damn, that's rough. Pretty good boost here. God damn, so close to a PB. So close to a PB. I think I just have a better line in my current PB for exiting the ring. Once I can land all these strats together cleanly in a run, like I hit the speed boost, I hit a really good first arch, hit a really good second arch, and then a really good ring, like I am golden. I've hit all the strats really well, just like individually. And it's just a matter of being able to string them all together into one complete run. Once I can do that... Damn it. Another thing to add on to the list is hitting the stair boost properly. Despite blocking on the ledge, still faster than PB here. Okay, I needed to tighten up that ring movement Maybe edge a little bit faster. Crazy with the movement here. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Damn it. That's an alright boost. This is like PB pace. Damn it. Was a little too far to the right there. Ended up bonking to the wall. Jumped too early there. I feel like the nerves are starting to get to me more now because I realized that I actually have PB potential right now. Like, I know all the strats to get myself the PB, and so now I'm just getting nervous whenever doing the runs because I'm like, oh, I might actually hit it now. Could have edged that harder. If I edged that harder, it would have been... not necessarily a PB, but it would have been a good padding on that ring. There we go. Slow. We're just behind PB pace. Edge that a little bit too hard. Don't you just hate it when you edge too hard and end up falling off? Because I do. And that was just a bad arch boost. I bonked into the wall. Damn it. Okay, really good arch boost. Might be able to make up for the fact that I didn't get the speed boost at the beginning. Never mind. Getting too ahead of myself. But damn it. There we go. Did I swing to the left too fast? It might have been a little bit too fast. All right, let's hit this. Yeah, that's rough. Decent boost. Just gotta hit this. Yep. Too far to the left. Damn it. I need to talk about something else so I'm less focused. I seem to hit much better runs when I'm doing that. Apparently even just talking about trying to talk about something else is enough. Oh yeah, I could have dismounted way earlier on that. Damn it. Speed boost, here we go. Kind of a bad arch boost. I could have gotten better. Yeah, asking questions is probably going to help. It's fine if it's delayed, honestly. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Bad arch boost. I should have been a little bit closer to the wall. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Lost a little bit of speed here, but I can make it up with really good padding here. Sub 18, not quite a PB, but that's close. Yo, we got another one. I think so far it's been every single time I've streamed, I've gotten one of these bots. On my socials, you saw that I like manga. Ooh, that's a very good question. What are some of my favorites? Okay, this one is a little bit of a guilty pleasure. I know it's not all that great, but I'm actually a really big fan of Tokyo Ghoul. Rather, I shouldn't say that I know it's not all that great, but I know that not everybody is a fan of Tokyo Ghoul. But I'm actually a really big fan of the manga, just because it was one of the first few manga that I've read. So it just kind of stuck with me. If that makes sense. Kind of like how, you know, when you're young and you pick your first starter Pokemon, and ever since then, you just kind of like stuck with that Pokemon. But other than that, I'm also collecting One Piece at the moment. Don't have like too much to the collection, just like the first 9 volumes out of the 100 or so that I need to collect. I've been collecting them in the omnibus format rather than individual volumes, so you get like 3 volumes for the price of 1. And that definitely helps save space. Nah, I was a little too... Yeah, the thing about Tokyo Ghoul is the manga is way better than the anime. There's a lot of people who only watch the anime and will probably base their opinion off of that, which is valid, because I feel like, especially in the West, anime is a much more popular format than manga. But I've also run into people who have read the manga too, and they still don't like the manga either. But yeah, I have those. I have the entire first 13 volumes of Chainsaw Man. It came in like a boxed set with a poster, which is pretty sick. And then I also have Demon Slayer. Personal favorite though, and this is going to be kind of a deep cut, is Noragami, which isn't like the most popular series, and I feel like a lot of people haven't even heard of it, especially if you weren't like an older anime fan. And by older, I just mean 2010s. I don't mean like the early 2000s. But like, I've run into a lot of people nowadays who are fans of anime and manga that haven't heard about Noragami, and they started like maybe mid 2010s. That one is like a guilty pleasure of mine to collect. I have the first 11 volumes of it. I need to get around to collecting more. It's just that I've been focused on collecting other things. At the moment, I've been really focused on my retro collection. Recently picked up an N64, PS2, and a few other really nice stuff. I've been kind of focusing on collecting just games. Especially because with manga, it's really easy to get something that's still in print for like a decent price. But with retro collecting, you know, most of those things are no longer being produced. So just the longer it goes, the more expensive it's going to get. I need to be closer to the wall when I do that jump. But yeah, one of the ones I do kind of want to collect at some point is Berserk. It'd be nice to own. Especially because I've heard much better things about the manga than I have about any of the various anime that have been produced for Berserk. Ooh, should have been a little bit further to the right. Had a little too much height there. Damn it. A little too far to the right. But yeah, personally, I'd say I'm much more of a manga fan nowadays than I am an anime fan. I used to be much more into anime when I was younger. But for me, the big thing is just time. Time, I feel, is like a really big luxury that, you know, most of the time I don't have terribly much time, aside from the fact that I stream. That is a pretty big time sink. But manga is just a much nicer format to digest in like short bursts than anime is, in my opinion. So like, for example, with Bleach, I haven't even watched 1000 Year Blood War because I read the manga like as it was finishing. I binged all of it in about 4 days, I want to say. And it's just like, these days, I don't want to spend a lot of time watching something if I could just read it, especially because I've always been a much faster, I've always been into reading specifically. I was like the nerd that had finished Lord of the Rings by the time they were in 2nd grade. So it's like, reading was definitely always my go-to. So reading manga to me is just a lot nicer than watching anime. At least now that I'm older. When I was younger, again, I preferred anime over manga. But I also had a lot more free time to like sit down and binge 2 hours of an anime. Whereas I can binge like 30 minutes of manga and, you know, basically cover the same amount of content that you would have gotten in 2 hours of anime. Okay, yeah, I need to hit those stairs a little bit better, and it'll... Those stairs and this arch boost I need to hit better. There we go. Kinda clean. Kinda clean. Nope, too early. Alright. Decent arch boost. Let's hit these stairs properly. Nope, hit the ledge, ended up slowing down. Not quite what I need. There we go. I feel like when I hit the stair boost just properly, it puts me in like the perfect mouse position to then hit the second arch boost, and I don't really have to change much. Right here, I got like kind of a crappy arch boost, but it also like works out kind of well for this route. Ended up hitting the 17.94, Zillia's PB from yesterday. Or rather, his old time, I should say. Probably more accurate descriptor. Yeah. Okay. I'm starting to get a little bit more consistent, and I feel like it definitely helped just chatting about something and focusing on something that wasn't just the game. For some reason, Autopilot Axion is a more accurate pilot than, like, you know, fully cognizant Axion. And that's a really weird thing to deal with. I'm used to it being the other way around, especially when playing like FPS games. Damn it, and I landed on that platform. So that specific platform right there that I accidentally landed on, that's the part of the strat that I mentioned with Jupin's world record. And the thing I noticed that was different about their pathing on that ring compared to my pathing. And it was that specifically they land as close on the ring to that path as they could. Whereas I was landing like a little far out. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, another manga. I forgot to bring this one up. Death Note. Death Note has always been one of my favorites. Started reading that like early in my time, like just enjoying the anime slash manga space. Definitely a personal favorite of mine. I haven't gotten around to collecting it yet, but that's because I want to collect the... They have a few different sets on the manga, and they have this really sick looking set with just like black pages and everything. I think it looked really sick. Black pages, black cover, and everything. But yeah, other than that, I think the only other manga I want to collect is Full Metal Alchemist, but specifically the hardcover editions. I have the first volume, but I want to collect the rest. Just a matter of finding it and them being a good price. Alright, swing right, quick. Okay, clean. PB pace. Just barely under PB pace. I tied Zillia's PB. That's good. The fact that I'm consistently hitting in the low 17.9s though means that I'm starting to get a lot more consistent at pulling this off. And it's just a matter of, you know, pulling it off better than my PB. And I feel most of that now comes down to pathing on the ring. Because my PB didn't hit... Oh, well, my PB actually did hit the speed boost. But it didn't hit the new arch boost that I've been working on. And it didn't hit the better stair boost that I've been working on. Which means that there should be like big potential for me to PB here. And it all comes down to hitting the second arch boost and the movement after it perfectly. Damn it. Keep accidentally doing that. Ooh, okay. Really good speed boost. Pretty good arch boost. This might be it. Nope. Screwed up. Still kind of PB pace. A little bit behind PB. If I had better padding right there with a slightly better ring, that could have been a PB. Bad arch boost, but I got the speed boost, so it kind of makes up for it. Damn, I got some insane speed off that, but it was a little bit too much. Ended up too far up the plank. Okay, hit the speed boost and an insane arch boost. We're in a good spot for this. Of course, I had to jinx it. Okay, but I'm starting to hit this consistently. That's important. Fuck, I did not mean to jump there. Damn it. Jumped too early there. Alright. I feel like when I hit the stair boost properly, it really helps for everything afterwards. Kind of lines me up way better for my strats. Yeah. Oop. Okay. Damn it. If I could hit the speed boost and line the arch up just properly, I can get out of this beginning section way ahead of my PB. Kind of messed up there. That was just a bad arch boost. I feel like when I think too hard about trying to land this arch boost as close to the arch as possible, I hit it so much better than when I'm actually attempting to hit it good. Like this right here, like, normally I come out of this arch boost ahead of PB. Alright, I have maybe a good 20 minutes left in me for this stream before I need to bounce and get stuff done. Damn it. Alright. I wasn't paying attention. Ended up not hitting that properly, but holy crap, am I on PB pace right now? Oh, that was so close. That was so close. I was on PB pace when I wasn't even paying attention and didn't even hit the stair boost properly. Okay. Damn it, edge too hard. I feel like when I hit this arch boost perfectly, I end up just messing up the movement afterwards. And it just sucks. This right here is good. And all right, later, Bricky. Take care. Okay, on pace with PB here. Ooh, not the cleanest movement. Yeah, I need a little bit more time to cook on that ring. Not the best arch boost. That's fine. Need to swing harder to the left. Head of PB. I think the big thing that's going to be beneficial to me, and the reason why I wanted Brookie to be asking me the questions, is that the nerves are really starting to get to me on trying to actually land this. So it helps being able to like not specifically not like always just end up talking about strat this, strat that. Oh, I need to be a little bit more left there. I need to be a little bit more right there, right? It helps be able to just take my mind off of it and talk about something else, because I end up getting too far into my head and overcompensating on something that, like, for the most part, like everything that I've been narrating about how I've been missing these strats are stuff that, you know, you recognize, but I don't have to vocalize all of it. I feel like vocalizing it makes me focus on it a little bit too hard. So there's a lot of times where I say, oh, I was early there, I need to be just a little bit later. And then I end up going too late because I tried a little bit hard. A little bit too hard. Be later. Damn it. So let's see, I have maybe 18 more minutes left in this stream. Let's see if I can hit the PB. I already hit one PB today. I'm kind of satisfied with that. Just sucks that it was a minuscule PB. Like absolutely minuscule. We're in the millisecond range. I would have hit a better PB than that today. That was decent pace. Ring movement needed to be cleaner. Now this right here is PB material. Let's not choke. I choked. I fucking choked. Okay. But yeah, that's the other thing. When I notice that I'm on PB pace, I point it out and I try and lock in for a little bit. And then I end up doing stuff that I probably shouldn't be aiming for. Or at least, again, it's another case of overcompensating for things I know I normally screw up. So over there, I know that I can get much better speed than my PB if I really edge myself on that ring. And I overcompensated. Got a little too far, a little too close to the edge. Edged a little too close to the sun. And the rest is history. But if I can get on that kind of pace once, I can do it again. And that is the goal. But damn it. Here we go. Could have had better on the arch boost. I kind of lost a little bit of momentum there, but not terrible. Okay. I think from now on, I should start taking failed runs to the ring so I can practice my ring movement. Because that seems to be where I keep screwing up the runs when everything else goes right. Which means that it's where I need to practice the most. Damn it. Damn. That's unfortunate. I have 15 minutes to hit a few more good attempts. And I feel like I don't hit the second arch properly when I don't hit this properly. But I've already mentioned that before. So let's see, let's focus on something else. What would be a good thing to focus on? Okay, every time I see that bell at the very beginning of the level, I don't know, for some reason my brain instantly goes to Taco Bell. Just because, you know, bell. It's like similar shape, just a different color. That's about it. I didn't really have anything else to add about the bell. Just that. It's not like I even go to Taco Bell all that often. I like rarely, if ever, go. But yeah, I guess that means good branding on Taco Bell. Damn. All right, let's see if I'm gonna get a better run here. Oh yeah, also, yesterday was the first day I actually realized that there's a floating island in the background of this map. Usually when I run things, or just play games in general, I'm not exactly the kind of person that like looks off into the distance and off into the background and stuff. Well, there are a few cases where I do. Context: I have a background in computer graphics. It was my favorite elective to take in university, and it's what like a lot of my free time working on computer science projects ends up going towards. Specifically, the thing I'm working on now, well, working on now is a little bit of a overstatement. I haven't worked on it in quite a while, but one of my current projects is, I think everybody by now knows about Wallpaper Engine. Well, Wallpaper Engine only works on Windows. I am trying to make something kind of similar, but to make it work on Linux. It's a little bit more in-depth just because you kind of have to get down into the nitty-gritty, and, well, on Linux you have what are called desktop environments or window managers, and it's basically everything that handles actually displaying stuff from the OS to your screen. And you kind of have to, on Windows, it's really easy because Windows just has the one display manager. I don't even know what they call it on Windows. Or, yeah, I don't know what they call it on Windows, but they just have the one. So if you're trying to develop an app for Windows, you just kind of have to concern yourself with that one app. Linux development is a little bit different because you have varying desktop environments with different window managers. And so you kind of have to plan for, is this something that some kind of interface already handles agnostically, or do you have to do that yourself? This is one of those cases where I would have to do it myself. And I know how to get around to doing it. I figured it out, like, I want to say maybe a few weeks back. Keep in mind, I started this project about 1.5 years ago. So I've been kind of stumped on this specific problem for a while. I figured out how to do it, conceptually speaking, a few weeks back. And it's just a matter of putting pen to paper, so to speak, and accomplishing it. It's just going to be a pretty large undertaking. I'm going to focus on supporting the desktop environment I'm using right now, and then probably slowly implement the rest later when I can get either the project gets big enough for other people to be like, oh, this is sick, can you get it working on this? And I'll have somebody to test it with. I think the big thing that's stopping me from doing it is just, at the moment, like, that's a lot of stuff to be testing by myself. Because if I have to do a separate implementation for every single desktop environment and window manager, you're looking at, well, it depends. If I only support like the really big ones, right, then maybe 3 or 4 implementations, and you can just wrap it up in a nice little package, nice little interface, so that the rest of the program only has to interact with the interface, and the interface itself does all the rest of the stuff. That'd be fine. Not to mention, it's also an open source application, so it's like, I really only have to bother with the implementation that I want to bother, and then people with the know-how could then use that and develop the rest of the implementations. It's just a matter of making sure that the project itself is open enough to make that easy, so they wouldn't even have to fork it, or like fork it into a different project, but they could just like add the development to the current project. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling at the moment because it's helping me take my mind off of this. I've been hitting some super sick runs. Like, yeah, I think when I'm just rambling and yapping, it really helps enter that flow state, because I'm a little bit more concerned about the talking than I am about the gameplay, so I'm not really overthinking anything. So yeah, it really helps. But then at the same time, like, I'm yapping about Linux and open source software development and all this kind of stuff. I don't really know the overlap of an audience on Twitch with that kind of stuff. Like, I am fully aware of the fact that Linux nerds are kind of a minority. Like, what's the best way of putting it? I think the way the Primogen puts it, which, by the way, if you guys don't know the Primogen, if you're into computer science at all, great content creator. I think the way he puts it is that Linux is a niche within a niche, right? So you already have a niche of being like I mean, the niches are like N levels deep, right? Like you could break it down arbitrarily. But basically what it comes down to is, you know, you have people that have a computer. That's already kind of niche. Not everybody in the world has a computer. Sure, they might have phones, but at this point I kind of draw a distinction between those two, at least for the sake of this argument. You have people who have computer, which is already kind of niche. Most people, if they need a computing device, they have like a phone or something, maybe a tablet. And then within that niche, you have the niche of computer scientists or tech nerds. Either niche works. Think of it like a Venn diagram, if you will. And then within that niche, you have the people that are aware and or use Linux. And then within that niche of people who are aware of and or use Linux for work, you have the niche of people that use Linux on the daily, right? And like, you could probably break down those niches a little bit more and like, you know, figure out exactly how many layers of niche it is. But it's kind of arbitrary at that point, because how do you define one niche versus another? You have to get consistent with that, all that kind of stuff. But basically, all I'm trying to say is very niche population, right? Very small. I think according to the Steam numbers, only about 5% of desktop gamers use Linux. And that's not accounting for the Chinese market. When you add the Chinese market, you end up having a lot less. I think it ends up being like a 2.5%. But that's like a little bit harder to... I don't know, those numbers, they're based off of the Valve hardware surveys that you get on Steam, and they're like pretty accurate for what exactly they're measuring. I just don't know, it's not like probably the most accurate for desktop usage in general, but it does give you a very good like indication of what's the word I'm looking for. It's precise, but it might be accurate, but it's not precise. Maybe that's what I'm looking for, right? It's accurate in the sense that, you know, wait, I need to remember. What's the difference between precision and accuracy? One of them is about how often you can get a similar value. The other one is how much deviation you have between values that you get, right? I don't remember which is which, but basically it's accurate in the sense that, I actually don't even know what I'm trying to say. Basically, it's still a subset of the users, but it gives you a good idea of like the group as a whole. I took way too long trying to figure out what I was trying to say there, but yeah. Anyway, this is all to say, I am in quite a few extremely niche topics in like communities, and I don't exactly have a good finger on the pulse, I guess is the word I'm looking for, on interest of said things. It's why, like, when Bricky and I were talking yesterday, I didn't get, like, too deep into, like, tech nerd stuff. Like, it happened a little bit because I was reacting to that one video while I was eating about, Mozilla beginning to lose market share in the Linux distro space, which is huge, don't get me wrong. But like, I had so much to say there that I didn't end up saying. One, because I was focused on trying to eat, but also two, because I don't know, I yap a lot. If it's something I'm passionate about, I yap a lot, if you couldn't tell by how much I'm yapping about this right now. Yapping is something I'm really good at doing, but I don't exactly have many good outlets for it. So when I get the chance to yap about something, I end up just usually annoying people with how much I yap. And there's also, I think I also mentioned to Bricky, there's this entire, the way people view you on the internet, right? And the thing I want to avoid is, well, first of all, I'm a Linux user. We kind of have a bad rep for constantly talking about Linux. Second of all, I'm an Arch user, which within the niche of Linux users are the people that get a bad rep for constantly talking about Arch Linux. So it's like I'm like 2 niches deep into the most annoying stereotype you could find online. I do my best to hide my power level in regards to that though. And with that, I hit the PB. I am so close to a 0.7. God damn. Okay, good to know that just yapping really helps though. Okay. I have a few more runs in me before I need a bounce. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue doing attempts. But yeah, Bricky, again, you left, buddy, and I hit the PB. It might be a curse. I don't know. But yeah, so essentially, I'm within like a few niches that are known for being extremely annoying. And I try and be like aware of that fact whenever I talk on stream and with other people. So I'm like, yeah, I'm super passionate about the things that I'm really passionate about. But not everybody, first of all, not everybody wants to hear you yap about it just because you're passionate about it. And a lot of people will end up just getting annoyed. Ooh. Now I'm racing against an even better PB, and I'm glad I got the second PB today. But it's going to be that much harder to PB again. But I'm so close to my goal. My goal at the moment is to get the 17.7x, so sub 17.8. And I'm like really close to it, which is nice. I am 0.28 off. Hit the really clean boost here. Okay, we're ahead of PB pace here. And I mess it up there. Okay. Yeah, again, it just helps too much to be yapping right now instead of locking in. Because when I yap, I just hit better runs. But that's good to know. That actually makes streaming a little bit easier since, you know, your job as a streamer is to just yap. Speaking of the Linux space, though, I'm curious to see what Valve's going to be doing next. They've been so far like the biggest proponent of Linux improving for like the average daily use, especially as somebody who's into gaming with the advent of, you know, Proton and Steam Deck, all of that just benefiting me as, you know, your average daily user who doesn't have Windows installed on anything. Like Loki, if there is one company that if I was able to work for and just like instantly be hired, it would be Valve. Other companies could be kind of cool. Canonical with their purely work from home like strategy since like the 90s, it's kind of sick. The current company that I work for, being able to move into like a full-time position with them would also be really sick. But Valve is that one company where like it's that cross-section of A, things I have an immense interest in, and B, a company I actually have a lot of respect for. And that doesn't happen often. Most of the time when you hear about companies and like people's opinions on a company, usually not a positive thing. At least not in the circles that I'm in, right? People in like my specific spheres of influence hate companies like Google and Microsoft and all that kind of stuff, right? Whether or not it's warranted, I'm not one to talk, right? I have my own personal gripes with big tech. But Valve is one of those companies where I see a lot more respect for than I do disrespect. Or just like anything else, if that makes sense. That was almost it. I needed just a little bit more time to cook on that ring. But yeah. I will say though, I'm not just like a Valve cocksucker though. What they do with CSGO and like skins, like I'm not the biggest fan of. Don't get me wrong. I love gacha. But CSGO skin gambling and all that kind of stuff could be cracked down on way harder. I feel like that ecosystem only exists because Valve allows it to exist. But I also recognize that, you know, part of the problem is, you know, you have to deal with... I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Give me one moment. Let me try and figure out what I'm trying to say. Okay. So you have to figure out like the proper way of handling this. Like, yes, CSGO is a Valve product. The skins are a Valve product. They were technically within their legal right to shut down any like online gambling casinos that happen with skins. But just because they're within their legal right doesn't mean they can't be sued for and lose because they are interrupting another business's, well, business, right? At least that is my perspective on the situation. It's probably why Valve hasn't done anything to crack down on skin gambling. But there's also the other part of it too, where they do benefit from it, right? It's not like all the gambling is happening. Well, yes, all that gambling is happening like off-site, right? But Valve still gets a kickback from it because it feeds into the CSGO skin ecosystem. So it's like, yeah. So I do still have some major gripes with Valve. But on the most part, I feel like they do more good than harm, which you can't say about a lot of other companies. And they also are like openly hospitable to my specific communities with like Linux and everything, as opposed to Epic Games and Tim Sweeney's apparent hate boner for Linux. But yeah. Don't even get me started on Nintendo. I used to love Nintendo as a kid. The older I've got, the more I progressed into my computer science degree and just learning about software patents and just... Nintendo makes bangers when it comes to games. I don't agree with a lot of their business decisions and business practices, especially as of late. The entire lawsuit against Palworld, it just makes me so mad. Software patents in general kind of piss me off. Because, like, how are you going to tell me you're going to patent an idea? Not the code. You're not patenting your code. You're not copyrighting your code. You're patenting an idea. Like, I don't know. To me, software patents don't really work. I mean, they do for the companies, obviously. But when I say they don't work, they don't benefit the end consumer. Like, look at the Nemesis system from the Shadow of Mordor games. What benefit have we gotten from how they revolutionized the rivals, right? Like the Nemesis. Nemesis? Yeah. What benefit have we as an end consumer gotten in games from the Nemesis system since it's come out? Not really anything, because nobody can do anything about it because the entire system is patented. If you get something that's even close to the Nemesis system, you are in a very gray legal area. Sure, you might be potentially able to win a defense if it's different enough, but are you going to wage your entire business like structure and just your entire business on the idea that, oh hey, I'm going to win a lawsuit when it comes to patents, right? Like, think about an indie game, right? Is an indie game somebody with usually not a lot of funding really going to take that chance and go up against a titan in the industry like Warner Brothers on a software patent? I don't think so. And the fact that Nintendo sued Palworld over that, I don't know. Like, you can have whatever opinion you want on the game. Personally, I thought it was fun. It got a little stale. Kind of stopped playing after a little bit. Have whatever opinion you want on the game. I think Nintendo's just actions around it have been kind of scummy. Made me lose a lot of respect for the company. Between that and their handling of just a lot of stuff that I have interest in. For example, Pokemon. I used to be like the biggest Pokemon fan. But their handling of recent Pokemon has been kind of trash. Not only that, their handling of just like online stuff. Okay. I'm like a really big fighting game nerd. Not in the way that... Let me rephrase this. Me saying I'm a big fighting game nerd makes you think, oh, this guy probably plays fighting games. I do to some extent. I love me some Guilty Gear, right? I own every single Guilty Gear game on Steam. So don't get me wrong, I do love playing fighting games. I'm just not like a super active enjoyer of them, but I am much more a watcher of fighting games. Maximilian Dude, one of my favorite content creators ever, right? Fighting games in general, like, I grew up with Smash, you know. Smash Melee was like huge for me growing up, especially the competitive scene. Not necessarily, again, not necessarily playing it. I never really played much Melee, but watching it, following it, all the content creators around it, right? And their handling of just Smash in general, the competitive scene, online for Smash Ultimate, online stuff in general for the Switch, and now recently their handling of the Switch 2, it's just like all of it is like, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not the kind of company that I'm a big fan of. But to be fair, it's not like a lot of console companies are like terribly much better. I avoid Microsoft products just because, well, it's Microsoft. I don't like the company. So I don't have Xbox. Sony is the only one I'm a little bit more neutral on. I know they have their fair share of issues. Kind of just either A, it's not exactly something that I've looked into, or it's not something that is like targeted at interests of mine, so it's not too big of an issue with me. But still, I don't own like modern products. I think the only modern console I have aside from the Steam Deck is a Switch, OG Switch, you know. But I'm more than content to collect retro stuff. It's why I have PS1 through PS4. Though PS4 isn't retro, and I don't think PS3 is considered retro either. But my point still stands. I like collecting the older stuff. Don't really have to worry about, oh yeah, you know, I'm buying an N64 game, and like wondering whether or not your money is supporting Nintendo. That game was already bought decades ago. Nintendo already got the money for that game. If I'm buying it secondhand, the only person benefiting from that is A, me for having the product I want, but also B, the person that you're buying it from. Is it like, whether or not you think that's ethical or not, like, you then get into like philosophical discussions on, you know, like, I don't even know what kind of term I'd use for this, but I guess you could call it something like a secondhand benefit. I don't know what you'd call it, but essentially like helping the popularity of something, even though it's not like directly supporting the parent company, but like you're still indirectly supporting it with morale, maybe. Right into that, and I'm like, I don't know how deep I go. This is something about my opinions I haven't explored yet. How deep do I go with my dislike of companies? Is it to the point where I don't even buy secondhand products from them? Probably not. At least not any of the companies, not any of the secondhand products I bother with. Again, just a deep philosophical discussion. I'm just trying to keep my mind off of the run because I've been, again, I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but I've been landing some very banger attempts so far. Like, I am fairly certain I can hit the 17.7. It's just nice to yap about something and take my mind off the game. Okay, we're on good pace, even though I didn't hit the speed boost. I'm on pace with PB. I'm starting to hit this second half of the level so clean, and it's just a matter of hitting this cleaner. But yeah, you guys kind of got a brief taste on why I call myself a tech nerd, a Linux nerd, retro game collector, and just like, yeah, I call myself a nerd not because, oh hey, I'm into it and it's a funny way of letting people know that, hey, yeah, I'm really into these things. I do feel like I hit the actual definition of probably somebody that is into something a little bit too much, and it's not cool how much they're into it. I feel like I fit that kind of to a T. But yeah, like I could talk, if honestly, if I'm lacking something to talk about, I could just get into like software licenses and like open source and all, you know, the differences between copyright, copyleft licenses and things that are in between, which reminds me that most of my projects are licensed under, most of my projects are licensed under the Mozilla license, the MPL, Mozilla Public License, which is like a middle of the road open source license. It's not copyleft, it's not copyright. In my opinion, it was kind of like the best of both worlds, but it's backed by Mozilla, and after all their recent issues with data privacy and just losing face against among their like user base, might be a good idea to swap licenses to something else. I just have to like really look into and find out another license that I like more, or not necessarily that I like more, but that I like good enough to actually swap to. There's a difference. I really liked the Mozilla license. It felt pretty good. But it's another case of, you know, this company is like, I don't know if scummy is the word I'd use for it. They haven't done anything like scummy yet, but they've done a lot of shady stuff. For context, for those that don't know, probably those that don't use Firefox or just don't keep up to date with web browsers, because that's such a tech nerd thing to do. Mozilla recently changed their terms of use to basically get a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free license to any and all data that you input into the browser. This is kind of alarming because they've recently done a hard pivot into AI, right? And I don't think it takes a genius to connect those two dots together and be like, oh, they're into AI, trying to harvest my... And they removed all language saying that they're not harvesting your data. They don't explicitly state that they are harvesting your data for use in AI, right? They just say that, oh, when you use the data, you grant them an irrevocable license to do what they need to do with the data. But they removed all language saying that they're going to keep your data private and secure and like not sell it, which to me that's a pretty big warning flag. Kind of like Google removing "Don't be evil" from their company slogan or company mantra, whatever it was. Like, how much more on the nose can you get than removing "Don't be evil" or like your slogan? Like that's crazy. But I mean, it happened. But it's really funny to me that it feels like Mozilla is getting even worse backlash over removing their whole data privacy stuff. But yeah, so that's been happening. And the other thing that's really affecting it is Google recently lost a antitrust lawsuit because they pay Apple, I don't remember how many millions, if not billions of dollars to be the default search engine on iOS. And guess what? Mozilla, I think close to 60 or 70% of their income is from Google paying to be the default search engine. So they can no longer do that because they just lost a lawsuit. It was like a big deal. So Mozilla went, oh, wait, this is going to lose us most of our funding. So they had to hard pivot into AI. And that's where like this entire thing spawned from, right? I feel like that's a very like apparent thread to follow if you just like follow the evidence. A little too early there. But yeah, so that's where the situation comes down to. And then it's just a matter of so not only have they pivoted into AI, they've kind of tanked their user base because all the super unpopular decisions they've been making about data privacy. And when you break down what would I call it? The user base of Firefox, you're probably going to get more people that are like aware and like conscious and like make decisions based off of things like data privacy and not wanting their data harvested and all that kind of stuff. Just because the average user uses Chrome, right? They probably don't care about that. Or at least something Chromium based, Opera GX, Microsoft Edge, Brave, all of that is Chromium based, which means it falls under the Google ecosystem. Maybe not in like an official sense, but Google owns Chromium. They're the main developers of Chromium. So whatever they pass into Chromium gets passed into most Chromium based browsers, right? They're at a 70% user share with Chromium. I think it's about 60 or 70% of web browsers are Chromium based. Like if you look at just usage. So they have a really big user base. And that means that your probably average end consumer that uses Chromium probably doesn't necessarily care about things such as data privacy. If they do, they're either on Brave or they're on something that isn't Chromium based, right? Similar to me. Problem comes in is that Mozilla has kind of alienated their fan base. Everybody is leaving Firefox, at least everybody that is like concerned about data privacy, which means that Mozilla is going to be making even less money. And if that happens and they go under, my worry is that Google becomes a almost complete monopoly in the web browser space, which is not going to be fun. Because I remember the last time we had a big company throwing their weight around in the browser space, That's when Netscape Navigator and a few other of the old classic web browsers went under, and Internet Explorer was the only web browser for a long time, and that just kind of sucked until I think it was Firefox came around, right? You're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm a little bit young on this. I know the history about it, but I wasn't like paying attention to it while it happened. But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts. Am I the best person to be speaking them? Probably not. I'm not the most educated individual. I'm not somebody that works in big tech. I don't work on web browsers. That's not my area of expertise. I just happen to have a passion for data privacy and security, because I have worked in cybersec. So just kind of thing, I like to stay aware of it. It's fun to talk about. Probably bore a lot of people talking about it that don't care. I've gotten super consistent at a lot of these strats. I was holding space, but I don't think far enough for it to actually actuate. But a 17.9 PB twice in today's stream brought it down from a 17.8. What was it? Probably high. It was as high as 17.8, all the way down to a 17.82. I think that's a pretty good spot to leave it for today. Again, short stream today. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening to me for almost 2.5 hours. But that's going to be it for me today. I'll be on tomorrow, probably the same time. Same thing with Friday. Next week, I'm going to have a little bit of a different schedule because I'm getting called in for work quite a bit next week, usually in the mornings. So I might be streaming evenings then. But yeah, I'll probably still be live then. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope you guys enjoyed.